Okay, Jeff, I'm going to throw it to you in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, we're going to be talking about women and technology with a young lady who has just been honored by the Dallas Business Journal with a very prestigious award. That's next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, both of my kids work for me, but if my daughter was young, I think I would tell her, get into technology, learn about computers, because it is just growing by leaps and bounds. And somebody who knows a little something about that, Betty Manetta, she is the CEO and president of Argent Associates. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff, for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here.
When you started your company 22 years ago,
yes.
Women in Technology, it was almost a unicorn, right?
Yeah. I would go to trade shows and I'd be like, there'd be just a few women and then all a sea of men. So yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking, but I stuck with it, and now we see more and more women in technology.
Yes, and I know you do a lot in terms of STEM and just encouraging young ladies. Why do you think there's such a gap? I mean, are moms and dads not having those kinds of conversations with their kids?
I think it varies. It depends on your upbringing and your social economic position at the time. Because I think in some cases, especially in the Latino community, the parents don't know enough to help their children. So yeah, I think there is a definite divide between those that have it, and now with kids having to virtually go to school and do everything, it's become an obvious gap within the technology arena, especially with our young girls. I think boys tend to play a lot of games, so they're a little more savvy, but the women the young girls are having a problem, and I think that's where we need to step in as a community.
And I have to tell you that Betty has a lot of personality. She's kind of bringing her anchor voice today, but we found a great clip on the web, and we want to show that to you now.
Ever wonder how to get a handful of those corporate dollars? We're in Austin, Texas, where thousands of businesses are showcased at the National Minority Supplier Development Council. Our host Mike, a serial entrepreneur and pretty good driver, will take top business leaders for a spin and challenge them to share their best tips for getting your piece of the pie.
Our next guest is Betty Manetta from Argent Associates. Betty is a third-degree black belt who loves to dance.
So I actually heard from somebody in the lobby that you hold the world record for climbing a cell phone tower in your high heels.
Oh, yeah.
Is this true? Did you really do this? You did not?
No.
So one of the things that you are well known for in the industry is the relationships that you build with your clients and potential clients.
Right.
So for all of the entrepreneurs who are here at the trade show and here in Austin, what are some ways that you think that they could do the same thing that you've done, building relationships?
Attending events.
Okay.
Being, volunteering your time. Sometimes, I understand you may not have the monetary capacity, but then you give your sweat equity, right? Let me see what I can do. How can I volunteer? And the more they see you, the more they know who you are, because people do business with people they know and they like and they trust. They're not going to trust you show up to an event once and then you're gone, right? And it's not just about me. I belong to the NMSDC, the DFW Minority Council. I'm the MBIC chair, WeBank, the Hispanic Chamber.
When do you sleep?
I don't. That's why the makeup. That's why the dark glasses and my little hat.
It looks great. No, I love it.
But you know what? But you have to commit, because I am passionate about our community.
Right.
And I want to see us be successful, and it takes a village.
So our guest is Betty Manetta, Argent Associates. Welcome to Billion Dollar Buzz, Betty. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
You
you.
were awesome
You're
and
an
fun.
awesome host.
And I love that. I mean, that is really good.
Hey, we
I
got to
really
make it
love
fun.
We got to make it a little bit.
So there you go. You're that much closer to being a billion-dollar business owner. For more buzz, check us out and submit the best questions that you want answers to, and we might feature them on future episodes.
Betty, I almost thought about having you wear the hat. That was fun.
Well, it was during Halloween, so
okay.
So that's why the hat.
There you go. You know, I can't let this go. You're a black belt?
Yes, I am. Yes,
Wow.
I am. First degree black belt. We also do weapons, so sais, swords, and we also do boxing. So I love boxing. That's one of my favorites, ways to work out, boxing.
Well, and so it's little wonder that you've risen to the top of your industry, because I know how much discipline it takes
Yes,
for
it
all of
does.
those activities. Let's talk about giving back to the community, because we're going to pull up a page on your website, because I know you're very active in several community projects. We've got it on the screen there. Can you talk a little bit about some of these?
Yeah, so Planet Mogul, an amazing story. Rowena Miller started Planet Mogul, and it's really how to get young kids, and I'm talking young, grade school, first, second, and third grade, getting them involved and understanding the different industries that they can get involved in, or think about for the future: automotive, biomedical, obviously telecommunications, utilities, petroleum. I mean,
Wow.
There's so many different industries, and all of them are touched by technology. So she started Planet Mogul, and we go out and we visit schools. Obviously, this year we weren't able to do it, but we are thinking of something virtual to go to the schools and do the same thing. So we have executives from General Motors, executive from Bristol Myers Squibb, and then some MBEs like myself, Argent Associates, that'll go in and talk to kids and tell them how you too can do this, and help them understand where we came from and how we were able to do it without a lot of venture capital dollars, right? But it was just sweat and equity.
Wow, thank you so much for that. And we said at the beginning of the show that you just received a great honor from the Dallas Business Journal.
Yes.
Let's put that up on the screen, because it's the DBJ Women in Technology Award. What did that mean to you?
That meant a lot, because when you see some of the women that receive that award, they're amazing. They're from Cisco, Ericsson, Nokia, AT&T. It was very impressive to be among some of these amazing women that are doing amazing things within their corporations, which you would have never seen that years ago. When I was in telecom, you would have never seen that many women being in those high ranks, making key decisions, and being technologists, because some of these are R&D doctors and physicists that are working in places like Bell Labs, et cetera. So it was very impressive, and so proud, honored to be part of it.
Well, and I don't know when you sleep, Betty, because this is not the only organization you're involved in. List some of the other associations.
Okay, so you saw NMSDC, but locally it's the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council. Also the Women's Business Council, Southwest, that's here in Irving. I'm also part of the Greater Dallas Hispanic Chamber, which is here locally, and Irving Hispanic Chamber. But I sit on the board of the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and the Tech Titans here in Richardson. It's an amazing group of all technology-based companies, and we have a whole focus on STEM in addition to other stuff. But
wow,
yeah.
I don't know, when do you find the time to do all this?
Oh, it's hard. It's not easy, but as I mentioned earlier, I'm very passionate about it. We're like servant leaders, right? We have to make sure that unless we're engaged, our voices will never be heard, and that's part of my job. Yes, it's sometimes I work more on the pro bono stuff than I do on my own business, and that to me is difficult. So that's why then I work all night, and then over the weekends doing stuff just to make sure that I keep ahead of what needs to be done in order to create economic wealth and continue to be able to pay my employees, right?
Of course, of course. Well, I would be remiss if we didn't talk about the pandemic. How did the pandemic impact your business, and then how were you able to adjust?
Yeah, so we did impact our business, obviously, and so many other small, medium-sized minority companies. What we did in that time is kind of pause and make sure that all our techs had the right training when we had to work from home. March and April and May, the techs started going back out because we do a lot of work in New York City, and a lot of our salespeople are working and selling into the cities, New York, NBC, CBS. I mean, there's a lot of things that we're doing with clients. So they had to keep trying to do that. Then in June, we're all in. Everybody was in the office. Now it's trying to drum up business. But we did start something a little bit different. We started our technology. Actually, we started years ago. We have a patent pending on our AirEdge, which was an edge computing device. And now we're doing Smart Edges, which is a kiosk for smart cities, which is a little bit different than your typical kiosk. And we have a few implementations, some right here in Texas. Hopefully one with UNT, Selena in Texas, and then a few in Florida. So we're excited about the future, and this gave us some time to kind of regroup and really focus on the technology and the platforms.
Well, something that really impresses me, Betty, is you have so much energy and so much passion for the world. I mean, you're not one of those people who thinks about just taking the day off and sitting on a beach someplace. What motivates you?
My employees, right? I think, I see them as family, and the last thing I want to do is have to say, I'm sorry, I gotta let you go. So I'll do everything I can to make sure that we keep it going.
Wow.
That's what I'm passionate about.
Well, I don't know if you can tell, Betty's tearing up, and that touches my heart. You love your employees. It must be a wonderful place to work. Tell us about, in the final minute that we have, why are your employees so special to you?
Because most of them came when they were in high school, and they were working in the warehouse. We trained them to be RF engineers. None of them have college, and most of them are Hispanic, African American, and Ethiopian, and one from Argentina. So we took these employees and trained them, invested in them, and now they can go out and command big dollars. So to me, I've seen them, and they never left during the good times and the bad. So that's why I get teary-eyed, and that's why I'm so passionate about our family of employees.
Wow, you blessed my heart. I love to see that.
Thank you.
We're going to end with your website so people can get in touch. ArgentAssociates.com is her website. Betty Manetta, thank you so much. You're an inspiration.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff, so much. And you are an inspiration to a lot of our community as well. Thank you.
Well, you touched my heart. All right, and that's it for now. We'll see you next time.